Yeah, okay. So, sorry that for the people that come here for coding purposes. This is normally, I'm going to misuse this channel because right now something really awkward is happening in Berlin, Germany at the moment, and I'm trying to make sense of it. So, here's basically what is the information at the moment. So, a while ago, Berlin, or a couple of days ago, Berlin outlawed a protest in the city. They expected thousands of people to show up, probably from. So a similar event has happened on the 1st of August. And then so it really fluctuates. So the state media says like 20,000. There were numbers from other sources that went up to 1.3 million. The truth is somewhere in between, of course, but it's a huge difference in how those numbers are interpreted. And needless to say, the event that basically happens right now is of a way bigger proportion. So what happened was basically that Berlin outlawed this demonstration. Then the organizers went to court. The court appealed the decision of the city and allowed the protesters to gather as long as the what is referred to as the hygiene concept. So like keeping distances, and if that's not possible, wearing masks. That kind of stuff is adhered to. Um, then the city went to the second instance, at which point the higher court, so that's it's a little bit of a difference of how that works over here, but the Court of Appeal also ruled in favor of the protesters. So the protest was on, and then this morning at like around 9:30 local time, all of a sudden state media reported that police basically has banned the protest because people did not adhere to the measurements. And ever since, it's very conflicting what we see here. So what you see in the background, by the way, is a live cam that everybody in the world can watch, and what you can see is, so this is Unter den Linden, a very important shopping street. Behind us is basically the Brandenburger Tor. We can't see that right now. I know we can see it at the no, we can't. So what it says is this camera is momentarily not working due to updates, right? So if you go and see okay, what's up with the next one, you can see the same thing. So for some awkward reason, all the cameras, the official public cameras in Berlin, and not all of them, by the way. I'm pretty sure if you go to something completely unimportant, yeah, there we go. So Cathedral, that's something that you can still see, but wherever you would basically see, oh, that's just an image, right? Yeah. Let's see what we have here. Wherever you go, where you could actually see people, like that's kind of like really hard to get to a public webcam. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's over. Um, so that's pretty odd. There was immediately an appeal decision again. So basically, what happened is that the mayor of Berlin and the police went against the court decision, disbanded or tried to disband the protests, and are blocking people from entering on various positions. The buses were stopped and so on. So let's see what we have here so if you go through various live streams of, for example, Roughly from RT, right? Let's maybe have a look at that. So this is how it currently looks like from in that case, right? Roughly belongs to RT, right? So the Russian state media. Very interesting what kind of footage they produce. This is live. We can verify that by going to several streams of of private broadcasters, right? So if you look at this right here, right, you can see that there is quite a gathering of people that basically gather it, but unfortunately we don't get any kind of imagery from higher up, so it's hard to say like what kind of crowd we're talking about. The different kind of people that you see there, right? So what's oh, maybe we can see a bit better view here now. Okay, he's with one of the organizers. So several groups basically come here, right? From all different kinds of political backgrounds. So you will see like flags that can fairly be associated with the harsh right or extreme right, and you will see flags, rainbow flags from like gay activists, and so it's a very unique mixture. You can see like from all different kinds of countries. You saw it's just a Ukrainian flag over there. So let me just quickly hear what he's saying, because they're expecting Robert Kennedy Jr. To speak. So let me quickly turn on the volume here.
Hier, den kennen wir auch. Den Kollegen kennen wir auch. Hi. Und, wie ist es? Ja, seht ihr, mein Lieben, Bernd Weierlein ist auch hier heute wieder. Legendär, seinen Kollegen haben wir auch schon gerade gesehen. Wie siehst du bisher die Maßnahmen der Polizei? Hast du bis heute bisher mitbekommen? Was ist deine Einschätzung?
Ja, also jetzt die letzten Maßnahmen, die waren jetzt mal vielversprechend, hätte ich gesagt. Polizei ist irgendwo auch dazu verpflichtet, wenn Auflagen nicht eingehalten werden. Also wenn
Okay, so I happen to know who this person is. This is actually quite interesting. This guy is a police officer. I don't know how to translate the rank, but like a relatively high rank within the police, and he's one of a couple of policemen that have outspoken against the actions of the police in the last protest, and basically joined the band of protesters, which is quite interesting, of course. So what's actually what's disturbing, and the reason why I'm even kind of reporting on this, right, is that there seems to be a really strange behavior from both the state media and the city to kind of like talk this down. By the way, as you can see here, this is actually very interesting to see, is that people do adhere to the distancing, right? Do you see that? So what they were told to, right, in order to, because of course they didn't want to be banned, what they were told to is to take a piece of chalk with them, basically, and something to measure, and then basically draw a little circle around them, so basically to have their own space, right? So the interesting part is that okay, so where they are now, this is called the Siegessäule, is not where this was supposed to happen. So the police has basically disbanded the original position, and if we go to let me actually see what I find here. This is the Pressekonferenz. Of course, this has escalated to a national level anyway, right? But let me quickly find something from the original. Any kind of live feed here, where we see. Okay. Okay. So here we see from Bild-Zeitung. It's this is a German news outlet from I guess it's fair to say from low quality. They have a relatively conservative outreach. I would say like they're comparable to well, it's really hard to say. It doesn't matter, right? But it's nonetheless the biggest newspaper publication in German language. And So here you see, so here we see the inner cities, right? Which is quite interesting. And okay, this is you know, like some actually, let's quickly hear what they talk about.
Täglich kommen da Leute zu Wort, die erzählen, die Poren sind zu groß, die Viren sind zu klein, das funktioniert alles gar nicht. Also ich kann das auch verstehen, diese Fehlinformation von sogenannten Fachleuten, die dann öffentlich übertragen werden. Und wenn die Leute sich das angucken und nichts anderes, dann verstehe ich die an dieser Stelle auch. Also jedenfalls, die Argumente sind völlig vielgängig. Die Maske ist genau die Sache, die wir brauchen, weil wir nichts anderes haben. Wir haben keine Impfung, wir haben auch keine Medikamente. Und natürlich sind solche Massenveranstaltungen, wie wir sie jetzt da haben, die ohne Maske, gezielt ohne Maske erfolgen, sind natürlich auch gefährlich für das weitere epidemische Geschehen in Deutschland.
Ja, Herr Dr. Sastro, nochmal zur Einordnung, was Sie eben gerade angesprochen haben, waren Demonstranten, die eben auf...
Okay, so that's apparently a doctor. He's talking about you know, like what kind of well, basically, you know, like puts it a little bit into context, like what is the actual danger, because of course, you know, needless to say, the whole argument for disbanding this protest is oh, hold on, wait a second. Okay, so they just changed the rule sets. So now basically the police has obviously basically just tweeted out that whoever does not wear a well, you know, a mask is going to be put away from there. So the interesting part about that is and that was actually one of the things that the court was very vocal about, is to say, like, well, no, so it's the what has to basically be done is, like, it's either 1.5 meters, which is, you know, I don't know what that is, like 5 feet or whatever, or wearing a mask, right? That's basically how the current ruling happens, and and now they're using pepper spray, according to the news ticker, which I'm pretty sure is way better for the health. That's basically what is happening. So the interesting part, though, what I want to show you is so here we are in a completely different part, right? So just so we understand how Berlin looks like, let's quickly open maps. To understand what we're doing here. So if I say Berlin, Germany, let's hop over the Atlantic with Google for a second. Okay. So basically, Brandenburger Tor. Okay, so this is, just so you understand this, yeah. So this is basically the Brandenburger Tor. That's quite famous, of course, like worldwide. So that used to be basically dividing East and West Berlin. This is Unter den Linden. This is the camera that we don't see right now, right? That was cut off, and you basically go through Alexanderplatz, and this here is basically where people are gathering now. Right, is that correct? Yeah, Siegessäule, correct. So that's basically where we see the, where's this? Oops, this apparently it doesn't work anymore. Oh, that's interesting, because that's one of the organizers. Oh, and here we basically have a number of, the first number that's over 1 million. Let's see who they are. Okay, so here you actually, okay, this is interesting, right? So this is, you see this, that's basically Brandenburger Tor, so all the way over here, which is a distance of I'm thankfully in miles here, right? So that's a distance of, let me see how I can do this, but I mean, we're talking about like a really long stretch, right? This basically means big zoo, right? Is it's literally the name. So they're now all moving over here, and so what you see here are basically important routes through this, right? This is quite a crossing here, and if you go to the, and this is basically something that it's hard to see. Okay, so abruptly also changed the camera over to this spot, which is kind of weird. So where is the, let me see why we can't get quickly find something appropriate here. Go back to the live stream of this guy here. Sorry, just 1 second, because I'm kind of trying to stay up to date on what the hell is happening here. So the live stream, okay, a couple live streams broke. That's probably too much going on. Okay. Probably too much going on. Okay, so let's look at that one. Okay, right, so here basically, right here you basically would see the Siegessäule, and it's kind of hard to see now, right? But basically you see from people coming in from various spots here, right? So this is basically where those streets were basically how we can get there. So the reason for that is that the police blocked people moving directly from here to here. So they had to kind of find ways around, and basically you can hear in the announcements that they basically say, okay, this is free at the moment, this is free at the moment, because the police is trying to block all of this, the people going there. Okay, so, and then this is for the Reichstag. Okay, let's find where that is. Right. So this is basically so we can see we're going over from here to there. That's not far, right? You can walk that distance. But the interesting point is that's basically the parliament, right? Or well, here, yeah, the parliament, so to speak. And so this is apparently also where too many people are, so they're trying to get rid of that. Or disband the people there. So it basically seems to be the case that, you know, like, okay, so this is the center here, right there, and it seems to spread like at least till here. And of course, like I assume that the density isn't that high, right? I mean, those numbers, this looks always like it's very dense, but if you look at any kind of oh, that's, hold on a second, that's probably in English. No, it's not.
Tausende von Ärzten weltweit repräsentieren. My name is Heike Schöning. I'm a medical doctor and co-founder of Ärzte für Aufklärung, Doctors for Enlightenment, Medicus pour la Verdad, an organization that represents thousands of medical doctors. Wir verteidigen die leidenden Menschen, deren Grundrechte und auch deren Gesundheit aufgrund einer organisierten
Oh, actually, now that sorry,
mit einem relativ harmlosen Coronavirus SARS-CoV-2.
Actually, sorry to interrupt. I just kind of like missed a chat that I would. So, are you still online? Let me actually just quickly see this. You see this? Because I have actually somebody in Germany who probably has a way better understanding of what's happening here. And I missed that though. It's been a couple of minutes. Let's hope. Let's see. So I'm gonna go to my voice channel, the interview channel. and hope that he's going to join me. Let's see. All right. All right. Okay, so while that is happening, let's quickly listen to. So he's one of the organizers of, but you heard it, Doctors for Enlightenment. Doesn't translate well, but so he's buying, or basically formed an organization, international organization, together with John F. Kennedy Jr. So I assume that John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to speak, which is always a little bit interesting with the voice he's got going on. So let's see what he's saying.
So, thank you very much for the support of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of John F. Kennedy, who has a great reputation here in Germany. We are very thankful for his speech, what he said years ago in front of the wall in times where it was closed. He said, I am a citizen of Berlin. Ich bin ein Berliner. This gives us a lot of hope and a lot of power. And so thank you very much for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to support us. And he said here very clear words to the organized crime. And he said very clear words what kind of crime now is being committed to vaccines and to other bad things. Organized crime in a worldwide fashion ist da. Meine lieben Mitbürger, wir müssen zur Kenntnis nehmen, es gibt organisiertes Verbrechen und es gibt es auch im Weltmaßstab. Wir haben eine Gleichschaltung in der ganzen Welt. Wir sehen es einfach, dass dieses Coronavirus nicht die Toten fordert. Zum Glück auch nicht diese Kranken in den Krankenhäusern da sind. Das sehen die Ärzte überall. Es ist eine Täuschung. Und in der Mitte steht was? Die Wirtschaft. 2008 gab es schon den Crash. Nur dann war klar, es waren die Banken und ihre Besitzer. Und jetzt ist noch mal mehr Geld ins System gegeben. Es wurde Zeit gekauft. Das haben die alle gesagt. Schäuble, Draghi, alle. Und jetzt, 2020, soll es wieder zu einem Crash kommen. Aber diesmal zu einem geplanten. Es soll ein großer Lockdown sein, wie Stage 4 in Melbourne, Australien, wo jetzt schon Ausgangssperre herrscht, wo die Läden geschlossen sind, zwar alle, wo die Kinder nicht mehr zur Schule gehen dürfen.
Okay, so maybe something we haven't talked about at all is the basically the main issue that the protesters have, right, is the lockdown policy. Which has you know, a huge effect, and basically just to give you an idea of what kind of a European phenomenon that is. Let me quickly find what's happening, probably also right now in London. Right now here you can see very nicely the different routes. Right, and let me quickly see. Okay. Unite for Freedom protests in London happening right now. Let's see, of course, as usual, also only Rockley or IT actually live broadcasting that. Not the BBC, right? Right. So that's always interesting, right? So the actual media is or the actual media, that's wrong, but I mean the the outlets basically of the national outlets don't report on that, or more or less just kind of like try to ignore it when it comes to coverage. It's probably going to be mentioned in the evening news, I'm sure, but this is currently well, I have no idea what's going on in London, but as you can see, like there's also like quite a couple of people banding together here. So that it's a little bit of a European phenomenon that we're talking about here, right? Let's quickly go back here and see what's going on. Okay, still that guy. So I mean, he can still go to his hairdresser apparently, so at least there's that. Let's see. So in the chat here, but I need time before I can really come online. Currently I can only listen, but if you stream long enough, I'm going to join. Yeah, that's actually a good question. Let me quickly see if I have a meeting today in, basically right now. But I think I'm good. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be streaming because I'm still trying to kind of like try to figure out what's happening now myself. Let's quickly listen into it again. What we see here, let me close the restream. That's taking too much. So I don't know if that's my RAM that are out of power because I stream so many things up and down at the same time. Let's try to
Wir
listen.
haben auch einen außerparlamentarischen Corona-Untersuchungsausschuss gemacht. We the citizens, we have the power. We don't need this organized crime. We organized a COVID-19 extra-parliamentary inquiry committee, and we can do much more. We have the solution. Mahatma Gandhi of India, he showed us a way how to do this. In India, there was the British Empire. Das britische Imperium war in Indien. And he
Okay, so I mean, okay, so he just basically explains and that's what they do all the time, right? So there's a couple of groups here. They're basically countless groups. So what happened, and that's actually very interesting, is when in the first attempt in the press conference of the city of Berlin when they tried to ban the protest, 5,000 protests were registered, right, during their press conference, more or less. There are countless groups that basically would, from all different kinds of political streamings would basically be part of this. And what they all iterate is basically that how important it is to stay peaceful. And they've very impressively shown that at August 1st. Like I was honestly like living in the U.S. I mean, seeing what happened on August 1st with like how the interaction with the police happened was kind of like wow. So you saw like just like 2-3 policemen going like just through those crowds, and arresting them people or whatever. And nobody did anything, and everybody stayed. They just sat down. Of course, I mean, there was civil disobedience, but not one stone was thrown. Nothing. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, wow. I mean, I cannot see an American police officer, even if in riot gear, that would actually dare to go into just into a crowd like that. If after more or less starting to arrest people for like that. Nobody would dare to do that. I mean, people would be too afraid. Yeah. What you see a lot here, though, I have to say, right, is so the flags that you see there are from the German Reich. I mean, not the Third Reich, but the actual German Reich. So there are basically two kinds of reasons for that, right? So one would be, this is over. One would be what is referred to as Reichsbürger, so that is a group of people that kind of like want to be, sovereign. This is a super complicated topic, but I mean, in theory, There is no peace treaty between the Allies and Germany. It's super complicated, and there are a couple of sovereign problems arising from it, right? And for example, if you think about the NSA scandal, where basically, the German government said no, everything the NSA did is legal, and they were right, because there are still statutes in place that would allow the Allies to kind of like control Germany in such a way. And then the second part of of people with that flag are honestly simply like right-wing extremists, right? So that's probably half of it, half of them even, right? So it's really hard to pinpoint the difference because they do have a lot of political points in common, and one of those groups would be well, a democratic movement, and others aren't, right? So it's hard to see from here, of course, like what kind of political streaming these individuals hold. Okay, and now it's bringing me to soccer, which is thank you, YouTube. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so this is. Okay, so apparently, I mean, you can see that, right? Even Ruptly, which I mean, they have solid funding, streams in like, I don't know, what feels like 4 pixels. So I assume that either the nets are breaking down, or maybe even are limited intentionally. I mean, I don't want to sound too conspiratorial. I assume the first. And in here too, right, you see all of those different kinds of flags that are here. You see this is here it's very nice to see that you can see the American and the Russian flag next to each other, right? Because this is basically the demand, right, from the sovereign movement to basically say, hey, we would like to get the U.S. and Russia together to formulate a peace treaty. So that would be well, basically the harmless approach, right? The not Nazis, even though of course, like the state media and so on will report that all of those are right-wing extremists. But as you can see, and this is also hard to spot, but those blue and yellow cars there, those are police cars. This is how the regular police looks like in Berlin. So if they're not in riot gear, and as you can see, it's. Yeah, so maybe, I know, somebody ran out of water or whatever. Like I mean, it's a pretty. Is that a, what does it say? Front. I'm not sure if that's police actually. Now that I try to kind of read what's on there, but I assume. Let me actually see in my chat whether or not. No, nobody can help me on that one. So I cannot for sure say that that's a police car, but that's how they look like, though. Just kind of wondering what's on there. Yeah, really hard to spot. Really hard to spot. Might not be a police car, but then it's something from I mean, something official, right? It might be from the city or whatever. Like those are not cars that private people drive. I mean, a little bit hard to spot here. And so what we also see when we talk about flags are two different kinds of flags, right? So one would be from the states. So Germany is a federal system, and then you see a lot of people that simply come from different countries, right? Surrounds like Belgium, the Netherlands, and so on. Like, we don't see that here, but I've seen that before. That people, like they come from France or whatever and bring their flags. Which is I don't exactly know why there is so much national symbolism going on. It's a little bit unusual for Europe, but I guess we'll see. guess we'll see. Okay, so I don't know. So again, this is Brandenburger Tor. This is so right. We're here. So and what's interesting, and this is like a little bit strange. So this seems to be live footage. No, where have we been now? It seems to be live footage, but for some awkward reason. So this is obviously. Oh, okay. Now they're switching over. So this is basically was from the part that should have been cleared by police, and I don't know if they've given up on that. I'm trying to. You see what the Twitter channel of. Let's quickly check what the official stance of the. Of the police is currently. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to figure something out here. So of course, you know, like the problem is that most of these people are just in the here you can see how the German oh, it's also interesting to see, right? Do you see that green arrow that one of them had? So those policemen come from like all over Germany, which is really interesting. So police is normally something that works on the state level, right? And but Berlin invited police from. Oh, see, there's somebody being arrested. Invited police from all different kinds of states of Germany, and that's legally not a problem, by the way, right? It's not like here. So jurisdiction is kind of transferable. I mean, with the necessary paperwork, at least. All right. So, as promised, I am. Okay. So 4 hours ago, right, the police basically has officially disbanded the protest. And I guess what they're doing now is they're starting to carry people away. Okay. Okay, interesting. So according to the police, 44 minutes ago, the part of the well, and this is so typically so the way that that you know, legal German works is like really hard to understand, because they have all of those words that everybody kind of like. So for example, everybody says mask, right? But the official expression is Mund-Nasenschutz, which basically means something that goes over your mouth and nose. And I'll look at this guy with the flower. Yeah. All right. So he made it to stand up for liberty, even though he's probably completely high. But so be it. So anyway, so they have in Boxbandagen an Taubner Straße. Okay. They have apparently so some of the measurements, right, that was kind of like trying to prevent people from gathering was broken through. So that is not good news. I assume that's not a complete lie. So probably there is some violence that we don't really hear about from others yet. Okay. Yeah, so this time they have way more police there. Yeah, so they're bringing like a lot of people they're just arresting now. Like who knows for what, right? But that's kind of like hard that we don't see that one. Kind of hard that we don't see that one. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is what you see here is unusual force for German police that they're and that they're sitting. It's also like I mean honestly, you know, if you look at so they're sitting on. Do you see that? They're sitting on his neck, just in the same way that we know has killed people over here in the States quite recently. So you would think that they're a little bit more wary of that. It's not a good sign. He's smiling. He's smiling. Didn't even take the backpack off. Okay. Yeah, and people do nothing, right? And that's they're also like basically they're instructed to do so, right? So I mean they're if the numbers are correct, then you know they it doesn't matter how many policemen there are, they can't just carry everyone away. Even though I mean also the holding cells, what are you gonna do? Like arrest 100,000 people? You know, like it's not gonna happen. Let's see. Good question. Good question. Let's quickly start over there. Where was that? Oh man. I think that it broke again, right? Is that yeah? That's what always happens. Okay. I don't know why I'm not Tucker Carlson. Yeah. Let me quickly see. Very good question. Let's see. Where's the other one? So here's my Twitter feed. Too much things going on here. Okay. Okay, so the official number now is 30,000, which is kind of like interesting that they report that. Okay, so let's get back to one of the organizers' stream and quickly listen to what's going on here.
Ich will nur mal kurz die aktuellen Meldungen durchgeben. Also, Friedrichstraße scheint immer noch problematisch zu sein. Wenn es da Bilder gibt oder so, schickt mir die rüber. Ansonsten versuchen wir noch Kontakt zu unserem Flugzeug zu bekommen. Das ist auch noch nicht gelungen. Wir gehen jetzt gleich, sobald das Lied losgeht, nochmal drauf. Wir werden auf jeden Fall noch sprechen. Heiko Schrang wird noch sprechen, Bodo Schiffmann wird noch sprechen, ich werde noch sprechen. Es dauert noch ein bisschen, bis es soweit ist. Wir müssen noch ein bisschen geduldig sein, ungefähr eine Stunde, anderthalb. Aber das Programm ist eigentlich recht gut. Es sind viele Leute da. Es ist jetzt auch so, dass die Wolken ein bisschen kommen. Insofern ist es von der Temperatur her sehr, sehr gut. Jetzt geht das Lied los. Viel Spaß damit. Und wir sehen uns dann gleich wieder. Wartet, noch geht's. Oder? Schauen wir mal.
Okay, he's basically kind of like trying to do the same thing that I'm doing here, right? So they kind of lost control over what's happening. So apparently their reports. Okay, so they're gonna go over to a song now, and then the speeches will come. Let's quickly see Friedrichstraße. What did he say? Where is that? Let's quickly find that. Oops. Friedrichstraße, Berlin. There we go. So there, it seems to be. Ooh. Here. Oh yeah, that's the inner city. Yeah, okay. All right. So just to get a little bit of orientation, right? So we only talked about basically this region right now, right? So the west, and here's Unter den Linden. That's basically where they have blocked the live stream camera from the city, and so apparently there's a lot going on here. So this is a lot to do with how the public transportation system works, right? So here, that for example, a bigger hub. So it's easy to kind of like block a couple of, you can see how normally the density of, if you look into this, the density of the metro is extremely high, right? But of course they sent it now to something where, as you can see, where that's not the case, right? It's kind of easy to block those kind of like little, I mean, okay, that's a bigger one, but those little things off. And so this is, again, this Bundestag, so that's basically the well, if you want, so the German White House. And so this is apparently where you know, some kind of clashes happen, or happens, or is happening. I mean, who knows? So we saw that from I don't know if you recognize this. We saw that from Ruppli earlier. So basically, this is downtown here, right? So it's obviously like spreading over here, while again we're focusing on what's happening right now here. Let's see, so this is probably just some music. The whole thing is very hippie-esque, of course. Okay, so yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I kind of like expected, right? So the kind of you know, bands and speakers that they let speak on these. So there are a lot of little stages and so on, but on the main stage here, that again has been kind of improvised. So I don't know how, you know, how far they can adhere to their schedule. But, oh, well, sorry, let's quickly hear what he has to say.
Der Gesang ist jetzt auf der Bühne, aber wichtiger ist mir, dass wir noch ein paar Sachen sagen. Es ist ziemlich laut, ich hoffe, ihr könnt mich trotzdem hören. Also, die Polizei offensichtlich wird immer noch, werden noch Demonstranten zurückgehalten. Wenn ihr noch Bilder habt von der aktuellen Situation, bitte.
Okay, so he's getting the news that you know, the police is still still basically trying to prevent people from getting there. Let's see what, and he's trying to get some footage on it.
Ganz wichtig, bitte Bilder, keine Videos. Videos kann ich nicht zeigen, es müssen Bilder sein. Ja, wenn ihr Bilder habt. Russia Today ist auch wirklich am Berichten. Also,
He's come to the same conclusion, right? Only Russia Today is reporting.
Was ist, meine Lieben, bitte im Live-Chat. Was ist mit dem Eilverfahren für die Demonstranten in Karlsruhe? Gibt es da irgendwelche Belege? Ich habe noch nichts gesehen. Wenn ihr da was wisst, dann sagt mir bitte Bescheid. Ich blende jetzt noch mal kurz ein, was hier los ist. Ich werde aber weiterreden. Also ihr seht jetzt hier die Musik, die sind noch am Singen. Wir wollen uns lieber ein bisschen beschäftigen mit dem Geschehen rund um dieses Event. Also wir haben ein paar Mal den Versuch gehabt, dass die Demo abgesagt wird, beziehungsweise beendet wird von der Polizei. Es gab ja auch teilweise wieder die Szene, ähnlich wie am 1.8. hinter der Bühne, wo mit der Polizei geredet wurde, wo die Anwälte auf die Bühne gekommen sind. Natürlich hatten wir dann leider einen Stromausfall.
Okay, so a lot of things happening here. Okay, what's interesting, he's referring to, so Eilverfahren is basically a legal German measurement where you know, like basically it's not like here where you get arrested and then, you know, like you sit there for a while until you can speak to a lawyer. Like they have to have access to legal representation from the start. And apparently there are organizations behind it that kind of supply those lawyers now. And he's referring to that apparently there was a mass incarceration in Karlsruhe. So Karlsruhe, this is maybe the next thing that, okay, so while this is a big happening, right, so in Berlin and London and so on, so just to let you know where Karlsruhe is, right, because this is happening in multiple cities all across Europe, of course. So Karlsruhe right now would be ooh, and now you kind of like, oh, okay. But you know what? Whoops. It's the wrong one now, but found it anyway. Karlsruhe, yeah. Thank you, Google, for... Okay. Right, so... Oh, come on. Right, so you see we're here. This is this may be hard to see. So this is Baden-Württemberg. This is the south of Germany, right? So here's Munich. This is Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, and and Berlin is quite up, right? Quite a distance here. So this is a couple hundred miles. Where basically, you know, there's also something happening. I don't know to which, so Karlsruhe is not that big. I don't know to which extent this is relevant, but it is interesting to note that, you know, this is basically far bigger than you know, like an event in one city, of course. Let's get back to the, nope, where are we? Here, that one. So that's kind of like,
Beziehungsweise schon dort. Ich habe den Leuten das weitergegeben, was man weitergeben kann. Ich weiß aber nicht genau, wie die Situation jetzt da ist. Karlsruhe bestätigt, Oberverwaltungsgericht, Dankeschön. Wer den Link dazu hat, bitte in die Interaktivgruppe geben. Ich sehe auch gerade, die Leute sagen, dass Brandenburger Tor nur Quatsch ist. Jetzt kommen wir... Ja, es kam gerade die Orga hierher. Es wird dann gerade eine Info durchgegeben. Bin mal gespannt, was hier gleich passiert. Wir sprechen gerade mit meiner Frau.
okay, apparently something is happening right now.
Okay, Leute, ganz interessant. Aber ihr seht, habe ich auf dem Bild, habt ihr ja die Luftbilder, genießt die Luftbilder. Eine Sekunde, ich bin gleich wieder bei euch. Ich bin in einer Sekunde wieder da.
No, probably the stream is breaking up. No, okay, it's just its microphone. Okay, yeah. So again, something is happening. So Karlsruhe, there seems to be a protest that was disbanded.
Also, ich habe gerade die Nachricht gehört, dass das Video von Ken Jebsen gleich auf die Leinwand kommt. Also wir werden gleich eine Ken Jebsen-Ansage haben. Die werde ich euch natürlich einblenden, sobald sie da ist. Im Moment seht ihr diesbezüglich die Luftbilder. Ich blende mich mal kurz wieder ein. Ich bin so frei. Ich hoffe, ihr könnt mich noch ertragen mit meinem müden Gesicht. Aber also bisher bin ich sehr happy. Jetzt schwenk noch mal kurz rüber jetzt den Platz vor der Siegessäule. Ihr seht, dass die Leute die Mindestabstände einhalten. Wirklich großartig. Dass die Leute sich in die einzelnen Straßen zurückgezogen haben.
Okay, so he's happy that so they've apparently they have 5 video screens, right? And he's happy that they adhere to the distance rules, so that there's no legitimate reason to disband them. So apparently now there is going to be a live stream from Ken Jebsen, which is probably the biggest alternative media outlet, right? So something like the Young Turk Network, maybe. From the relevancy, and here you see that the different kinds of and it's actually interesting to see. Do you see how here it kind of stops and then there it starts again? So I assume that back there they have one of those video things, and that's why at a certain point it makes more sense to look in that direction. Like, it's really hard to guess what's going on here, because it's apparently so it's very unusual, right? So normally if you see protests, it's very dense, and that doesn't seem to be the case here. So we'll see that, and makes it extremely hard to estimate the numbers, of course. From what I see right here, I mean, this could also only be like 10,000 or so, so really hard. We'll figure it out.
Paul, willst du ein Bild von oben? Ja, will ich. Ich sehe es ja, ich bin schon drauf. Aber ja, schwenkt mal ein bisschen Richtung Brandenburger Tor oder so. Okay, Paul gerade noch gesprochen, er wird jetzt gleich mit euch ein bisschen schwenken, dass wir ein bisschen besser sehen können. Jetzt gucke ich mal, wann er sich anfängt zu bewegen. Dann blende ich die. Ja, fängt er an, sich zu bewegen. Schaut euch an, so sieht's aus. Und ihr seht, hier gibt es keinen Grund, sich über die Mindestabstände
He's
zu beschweren.
reiterating again, so he used this at the same time as legal proof, right?
Vielen, vielen Dank alle, die zurückgegangen sind, die sich von ihren guten Plätzen hier wirklich für die anderen Platz zu machen. Das ist wirklich großartig. Ja, meine Lieben, wirklich, also wunderbar. Jetzt müssen wir noch gucken, dass wir dieses Event gut durchbekommen. Die Leute haben sich niedergelassen. Und ich bin mal gespannt, wer die nächsten Redner sind. Ich weiß es wirklich nicht. Ich sehe gerade hier rechts den Nana laufen.
Okay, so he also doesn't know who's going to speak next, which is kind of weird. Again, that he's very close to. He's part of the organizer team. So the people that organized this, I think they are from Baden-Württemberg, if I remember correctly. I think they're from Stuttgart, but they seem to have. They're very, I mean, they don't have how should I say it, like a hierarchy, so to speak, right? So it's a little bit of chaos once in a while. So let's see what else is going on. I'm going to quickly watch while this is going over. I'm going to leave that up for you guys here. Meanwhile, I'm going to see if we get a little bit of more. Where does this flag come from? Oh, it's a European flag. Okay, from up there. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's see what's happening.
Wir haben jetzt jemanden für euch, der schon damals in Stuttgart eine wichtige Rolle gespielt hat und der nur für euch heute eine Videobotschaft für euch aufgenommen hat. Bitte, Video ab.
Okay, that's Ken Jebsen, I suppose. Ja.
Willkommen des 29. August. Dass ihr hier seid, liebe Freunde, liebe Bürger, liebe Demokraten, das ist ja eigentlich verboten worden. Der Senat von Berlin hat ja, ich zitiere das mal, gesagt, ich bin nicht bereit, ein zweites Mal hinzunehmen, dass Berlin als Bühne für Corona-Leugner, die meinen euch, missbraucht wird. Wie gesagt, so der Innensenator, und der hat ja diese Veranstaltung heute am 29.08. explizit verboten und hat auch gesagt, dass er bereit wäre, die Warte gegen euch, die Bürger da draußen.
Okay, I'm trying to live translate. So what he's saying is kind of like, okay, so you've been outlawed, and you came, you still came. he's warning of totalitarianisms, because if you start basically to outlaw demonstrations or protests, then it's very thin ice. By the way, if somebody happens to use American Sign Language, you'll notice it's a different sign language that you see there, it's the I forgot what the other one is called, but it's a different one is usual. Okay. So he basically said, oops, he's basically saying that there. So he traveled around a lot and noticed, like compared numbers to measurements, and he said like what is noticeable is that the way that measurements are basically not taken seriously, but are enforced, does not seem to have anything to do with the numbers. Okay, he's making a very interesting historical reference here. So he said, don't forget that in 1989, when the Eastern Germans started protesting, it was also not allowed, right? So that's basically the reference he's drawing here. Okay, so he's going to let's listen to it for a second. Okay, so those are 3 initiatives he wants introduced.
Meilenweit entfernt war. Und jetzt kommt
Okay. Now it's kind of cute that you notice that he wrote it himself, right? It's probably not how an adult would write something like that. He's reporting on how school works in these days.
Als wären mehr Leute an Corona verdummt als krank. Meine Freunde träumen davon, wieder normal in die Schule zu können. Ohne Angst, ohne Maske. Es soll sich was verändern. Ich konnte am letzten Schultag nicht in meine Schule gehen wegen Corona und meine Freunde nicht verabschieden. Ich wünsche mir ohne Fehler uns ein Frieden, Liebe,
Yeah. So.
Freiheit.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know, like if you're really honest, you know, like at that age, you don't have a political opinion, right? So I mean, there's always a little bit of misuse in those cases.
Einzug in unser Zuhause gehalten. Täglich stehen wir Eltern vor der Zwangslage, unsere Kinder in ein Bildungssystem zu entlassen, in der ihr körperliches und geistiges Wohl gefährdet ist. Kinder werden getestet, ohne unsere Einwilligung. Das ist die Vorstufe zur Impfung. Jugendliche bekommen Folgehaft angedroht. Kinder müssen sich Freiheit wünschen und haben
Okay, so yeah, so apparently this is a organization for parents that are unhappy with how the schools react to the current situation, and how basically how certain sovereign rights of parents are overruled, and how, for example, like teens get incarcerated for probably breaking some kind of hygienic rules, I guess, but she didn't mention.
nicht im eigenen Heim von unseren eigenen Kindern distanzieren, ihnen unsere Zuneigung nicht nur mit Masken und sie nicht von uns isolieren. Dieses schleichende Gift dieser permanenten Unsicherheit frisst sich in das Heiligste, was wir haben, in unsere Familien.
Yeah, so apparently they're worried about the effect on the family and how it's basically dividing them.
Lassen es nicht mehr zu, dass unsere Kinder von der Politik verheizt werden, als Hebel eingesetzt werden, um uns in der Spur zu halten, nur um arbeiten gehen zu können. Der Deutsche Kinderschutz von kommunalen Verantwortungsträger aufgerufen, das Kinderrecht und das Kinderwohl vorrangig zu behandeln. All die, die das nicht tun und schweigen, machen mit. Und zwar indem sie es besser wissen, aber nicht handeln. Wir sind an dem Punkt angelangt, wo die Regierung zusammen mit den Mainstream-Medien es geschafft hat, dass man nicht mehr Angst vor einem Virus hat, sondern Angst vor dem Denunziantentum und leider die größte Angst vor der eigenen Courage. Ich kann euch sagen, diese Angst kann man nicht wegimpfen. Diese Angst bleibt und sie bleibt so lang, bis du dich entscheidest, keine Angst mehr zu haben und Nein zu sagen.
Okay, this is actually I like the quote. So she said there will not ever be a vaccine against fear.
Fokus der Welt. Daher rufe jetzt alle Menschenrechtsorganisationen weltweit auf, uns zu unterstützen, unsere Kinder zu schützen. I urgently call to all human rights organizations in the world to help us protect our children and to support us.
Wir Klagepaten sind ein Verein von Anwälten, IT-Profis und Pädagogen. Und unsere Mission ist es, euch zu ermutigen und euch zu ermächtigen, euer Recht in eure Hand zu nehmen.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what particularly they stand for, to be honest with you, this organization.
Findet ihr App-Anwendungen, Schriftstücke, Musterschreiben und vorbereitete Klagen, mit denen ihr
Ah.
ganz einfach mit einigen wenigen Klicks
Okay,
euer
it's
Recht in eure Hände nehmen könnt.
okay. This is legal representation. So this goes basically. So this is very at the core of what this is, right? Is that a lot of things have been implemented that really aren't on solid ground from a legal standpoint, right? So for example, in Bavaria, you need to if somebody enters a restaurant, you need to capture their name and address, and there's no regulation of how that data is used, and there's have already been cases where it was misused even by state forces, right, in order there's no data protection whatsoever, and Europeans are traditionally very concerned about stuff like that.
Ich bin Geburtsbegleiterin. Die Gesundheit unserer Kinder beginnt mit der Schwangerschaft und beginnt mit der Geburt. Und gegenwärtig werden Mütter auf der ganzen Welt gezwungen, mit einer Maske zu gebären. Das ist nicht nur Nötigung, das ist Körperverletzung und das ist eine Gefahr für Leib und Leben, für Mutter und Kind. Ich rufe hiermit alle Männer auf. Setzt euch ein für eure Familie. Setzt euch ein für die Zukunft eurer Kinder. Ich freue mich, dass wir seit ein paar Tagen ein Informationsschreiben auf unserer Webseite haben für werdende Eltern und eine Haftungserklärung zum Runterladen, sodass die Kliniken, die euch zwingen wollen, die Maske während der Geburt zu tragen, die Haftung übernehmen für alle Schäden, psychisch und körperlich. Und an dieser Stelle möchte ich alle Hebammen und alle Geburtshelfer, alle Gynäkologen.
Okay, so yeah, so this group's main focus is basically children, and so she's a midwife, and how the political effects on what's happening right now, how that is regulated, and to basically
Wendet euch an Organi Motherhood und die Mutigmacher.
this is the next guy.
Ich bin völlig sprachlos. Liebe Menschen, ihr macht mich komplett sprachlos. Danke, dass ihr hier seid in dieser riesengroßen Anzahl. Mein Name ist Hadi. 6 weiteren mutigen Menschen haben wir vor einigen
So this is an organization for legal representation. So this is something very interesting that's happening in recent years already, where there are more and more groups of political lawyers, so to speak, right? That would be funded by their NGOs basically to support legal claims.
Zu gehen, weil sie natürlich genau wissen, was passiert, wenn ich das mache. Ich verliere vielleicht sozialen Status und viele andere Themen, die da auf mich zukommen. Und genau an der Stelle wollen wir von Mutigmachern ansetzen und diese Menschen ermutigen. Und wir haben ein tolles, breites Unterstützernetzwerk. Wir können rechtlich beraten, wir können psychologisch beraten, wir können finanziell unterstützen, wir können bei der Jobsuche behilflich sein.
Yeah, so again, like some legal, this is still not working. Some legal representation if you seek for it, like, okay, so here we are. Okay, here you can see what I was talking about before, right? You see that there's a video screen of quite some proportion. So here we are back at Brandenburger Tor, and you can basically see the same. So this is, I wonder why they stand there in the middle, kind of weirdly. Okay, they walk through there. Yeah, okay, that's what they like to do here. The German Rhine police works in very strange ways. They kind of like once in a while just go through the masses, you know. And then, by the way, it's super ironic, of course, because then everybody's kind of like pushed together, and then they say like you didn't adhere to the distance. Like, yeah, sure. Anywho, so let's jump back to Brandenburger Tor, so you see what that is. Right, so just to remember this one, I don't even know, is there another Brandenburger Tor? Right, so if we go in there, let's get a little closer here. Right, so this is basically where this other stream is happening. Right, so again, this is the main, and then you can basically see, and you saw that, right? You saw that, and do you remember when I told you, okay, then eventually it just stops here, where you can't see people anymore, and then it starts again, and then, you know, they're more in that spot. So as you could see, like probably around here, there's another video wall where stuff is happening, right? And that's basically where we are here. And it seems to be a little bit more militaristic here, as you can see. You always see like just police walking through, and what they do, and this is really, really strange. So they have body cams, of course, but you see how they have those cameras, those cameramen that walk around like that. It's super weird, right? This is more or less like a little bit of an intimidating thing. Like, I don't know what that guy gets arrested for, but he's probably was sitting somewhere. I don't know. Let's actually quickly listen in. Yeah, okay, so the police is basically saying, get lost, you're officially not allowed to be here. See, and they just take away one after the other. Very interesting to see that. Very interesting to see that. So you can see everybody stays super peaceful. It's very interesting to see that. Right. It's cool that this guy, so they didn't carry that guy away yet, right? With the flower. I don't think they dare to. Like, it's just like, yeah, no, not that hippie, you know. Not well, the Russian state media is filming that. Okay. So let's see what's going on Twitch here. you hear the same thing but here they say, okay, if someone's, oh, see that he's already standing there, like, okay, take me next. See that? Very interesting to see. Like, so what we can hear in the background is schämt euch, right? Aren't you ashamed? Or shame on you, basically. Yeah, the hippie's cool. They don't touch the hippie. This is really interesting. Alright, next one. Yeah. A little unnecessarily rough, of course. I mean, given the fact that obviously the protesters are extremely peaceful. Okay, now they're chanting, "We want the peace treaty." So I was talking about that group, right? I don't know if you heard that in the background, but there are a couple of different languages going on as well. It's a very different flair here, as you can notice. I mean, if you can compare that to the I mean, other than this one hippie, the discussions you know among each other too. That's not what I was walking at. Okay, so what is this one? Okay, this is from Bild. This is again what's happening here. Let's listen to that for a second.
Vielen herzlichen Dank für deine Einschätzungen. Ja, es ist ein herausfordernder Tag für die 3000 Beamten, die heute in Berlin aus
They say it's a challenging day for here. Yeah, it's a challenging day for the 3,000 forces that have come to Berlin from all different kinds of German states. So again, so we just saw basically right this area here, right? So this is basically, so over here. Let's actually quickly see. Just so you recognize that, boom. Okay, we should be able to see that, right? So you probably know that from the, are you kidding me? Oh, I dropped myself in a tunnel. Why the hell? Google Street do that to me. Okay. Crap, okay. Let's see what I can do here. See what I can do here. That looks better. Yep. Right, you probably know this kind of imagery, right? So that's actually here you can see both of these. So this is Reichstag, right? This is basically where the complete political thing is happening, right? So this is where the action's happening over there. So if you, right, and then again here is what you saw with those peace treaty people, right? So and then here is where basically you know, some kind of riots are happening, and this is again this is where well, basically the center is happening.
Andererseits würde es der Polizei nicht weniger Arbeit machen, denn man durfte nicht annehmen, dass bei einer Rechtsprechung, die anders ausgesehen ist, beispielsweise das Verwaltungsgericht oder das Oberverwaltungsgericht, die Verbotsverfügung der Berliner Polizei steht, dass dann diese Gruppen nicht angereist wären nach Berlin. Dann hätten wir eine andere Einsatzlage, aber eine gleich große Herausforderung.
Die Polizei fährt ja jetzt sozusagen eine Deeskalationsstrategie. Gleichzeitig sehen wir aber auch in den Bildern, die uns live erreichen, dass viele Demonstranten eben sich nicht daran halten, die Masken zu tragen oder die der Aufforderung nachkommen, jetzt den Ort zu verlassen. Wie ist Ihre Einschätzung? Wie wird es da jetzt heute noch weitergehen, vor allem wenn dann der Abend kommt?
Und Deeskalation bedeutet nicht Rückzug oder Nichtstun oder Duldung von rechtswidrigen Zuständen durch die Polizei, sondern Deeskalation bedeutet zunächst einmal, dass man mit der notwendigen Stärke präsent ist und
Okay, I don't know who this guy is, right? But he's basically saying, well, no, de-escalation doesn't mean that you don't apply force. De-escalation means that you're there with enough police force. Like, okay, very interesting point of view. What's happening here? Why is this? Okay, let's see what's going on there. Okay, so he's appealing to the police, right? That don't forget, we stand here for your rights. You're not soldiers of regime. You're the people, just like us. Stop carrying the people away, right? You have the right to disobey unlawful orders. Now they're screaming Putin and probably also Trump. Now they're arresting him. For saying that. Probably need a couple of 40 or 50 people to arrest the speaker because they're afraid. But as you can see, nothing is happening. Somebody from Switzerland. This is probably press, right? The people that they don't just take away. See that? So there are a lot of people with camera and so on. There's probably a lot of press there. See? I mean, the guy in the suit. I mean, he's, like... Alright. So, unfortunately, you have to leave it at that. Let me quickly see what's going on here at the official one. It's still the lawyer guy.
War beeindruckt von jedem Einzelnen, der den Mut hatte, damals aufzutauchen und vor allem auch alle Leute, die die ersten großen Demos organisiert haben. Ich bin kein Wissenschaftler, der euch helfen kann, alle medizinischen Fakten zu verstehen. Ich bin kein Arzt, der euch dabei helfen kann, eine Attestierung zu bekommen. Ich bin leider kein Rechtsanwalt, der euch helfen kann, eure Rechte durchzusetzen. Ich bin kein Journalist, der euch helfen sollte, die Wahrheit zu finden. Aber für alle diese Helfer und Mutigen kann und sollte man etwas tun. Stützt euch gegenseitig. Neben dem demokratischen Werkzeug der Demonstrationen haben wir viele gute und persönliche initiierte Projekte und Initiativen.
Okay, they talk about various projects that they basically how they connect various from medical to legal to whatever. Which are there? And so looking at the time, I unfortunately have to leave it at that. I hope I can jump back in later. So right now in Berlin it is 6 o'clock at night, right? So I'm not sure what's how this is going to happen. So this was basically the whole start of this was pushed back by like 4 or 5 hours. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Diese Täuschen brauchen eure Unterstützung. An alle Vermögenden und deutlich finanziell besser dargestellten. Wichtige Projekte brauchen jegliche Art von Finanzierung.
now it's appealing to people who can afford to finance those groups and so on. Got unfortunately need to jump off. Hope I'll see you. Well, maybe I'll report on the outcome some other time. And don't worry, this is just something because it's quite an interesting political happening from my home, and normally, of course, you will